Okay, we're going to share the screen in a second. But excuse me. If you have not seen the 911 ROTCL security for anti-NSA, anti-security, or anti-PSYOPs, anti-CIA, you need to watch that video. So that needs to be on your list. We're establishing a sense of dominance over our Moriarty oppressors. Let's just remember, in Ravenclaw, we're not allowed to be victims just because everybody can spy however they want on us for infinity and under all and every circumstance. So it is our job in Ravenclaw to establish survival and security mechanisms that are 10-layered divergency out. Let me say that again. We are required in Ravenclaw to establish divergency protocols that are 10 layers out. I walked in to a PSYOPs experiment that was at a Westworld Matrix mind program level on my physiological DNA. And then we blew apart their ability to do that by establishing 7th House Netzach. So they're always a little bit behind. In Ravenclaw, it's a horror movie. Just know that. In Ravenclaw, you are required to be 10 levels ahead of them. I know. Your brain goes, absolutely. I am one person and I know nothing. I know. I'm smart, but I'm not smart enough to fight a government establishment that wants to murder me because I am intelligent. I know. It's terrifying. So we're going to begin somewhere and we're going to take baby steps and then we're going to grow. And we will eventually get to 10 layers, but we have to establish it somewhere. The first thing, the day after or the night after, I was handed the fake cyanide and was given my PSYOPs experiment. It was like they put me in an augmented reality experiment in real life through the Matrix system. It was at a 100% Gebra cyclical reality scenario, and they are 100% entrained to terrorize the mind. And it's a walk-in. You walk in thinking that what you've received is accident, or what you've experienced as somehow a divine manifestation, because that's what it's been your entire life. And by now, it is actually only implant, and it is their conscious or at least subconscious at the base level minimum. It's subconscious, them triggering an actual bondage Westworld experiment on your body and brain to see how your psychology will respond, to see how your physiological DNA will respond. So they think that your body is human property, or your brain is somehow human property, and that you're not entitled to free will at all, that you are a government property because you transcend the spectrum of a human norm. So you're not allowed to actually legally exist in their paradigm. You are outside their control. And so therefore, they have the right to own your entire mirror prism. They have the right to own your soul, and they have the right to own your free will choices. It is at that point, if you're cognitively not a hode bot like they are, like if you've gone through Gabra, you know how to fight for your life. It is at that point that you have to establish divergency protocols in your everyday set behavior pattern. Now, the first mistake is to think that they're not going to track literally every single thing you move and then do A, B, mirror fork responses. Is she going to do make that decision, or is she going to make that decision? They will be monitoring your thoughts and your decision-making capacities. And why would you make that thought? Or why would you make that choice? Why would you make that purchase? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Because they don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about Ravenclaw. They don't care about your free will. They do not care. They care to test. They care to test you. Period. That's all. They have no soul. They have no actual brain. They can't make it into Netzach. These are the people that will genetically clone humans or do the stem cell researches and do petri dishes. That's them at their best. Okay, so we're talking about like exploitive nature sciences that think that you're a rat in a maze that they're allowed to study. So, Divergency Bible. Let's start from somewhere. Every single place in your life you have made a mistake of announcing any of your magics, any of your thoughts, any of your story. You've made the mistake of walking in and trusting a government system or people. If you've said it out loud, they know it. They have the ability to track through the reverse internet mirror my home in high school. We're talking about 20 years of data that they are retrieving right now. So anything you have ever said out loud is no longer secret. Know that ahead of time. If you've said it out loud, it's gone. What you can do is build. You have to let go of the loss. You have to move forward. They have no ability to comprehend that an animal should not be implanted with Monsanto corn. Their brains are meant for only human and biological ownership, control, and domination. Their brains are not programmed to establish nature respect. Their brains are not programmed to understand even just plain scientific reasoning and good mathematics. Their brains are not programmed for human empathy. Their brains are not programmed for anything other than violence, control, and monetary and physical gain and personal self-interest. That's the best they have to offer. Period. You have to know who they are. And the smart ass ones have brains like Moriarty, who have sexual perversions getting off on challenging Ravenclaw. Let me say that again. They're serial killer mindsets, and they get off mentally and sexually on challenging and facing intelligent competition. They are not Hannibal Lecter. They are not connoisseurs of the best wine and art, and they're not looking for Clarice to love and then sacrifice themselves for. They are not that. They are Moriarty. They will rip your limbs off and laugh doing it. Because they outsmarted the FBI, they outsmarted SWAT, they outsmarted the government. They are the government. They outsmarted the system, and they're getting off sexually on it. Okay? So that's our first major concern and lesson. Where do we move forward from there? The first night, learn Morse code. And I'm going to tell you why. it will be at that level in your life. I promise. Oh no. The chariots have a wait. The door has opened. Hold on. Oh no, Bizarro. Our first step is to learn Morse code. Do you see how I can give you an energy and information and they're still at a lack of control because I'm giving you the skill instead of the teaching? Do you see? So that's the first layer of offsetness. Because I'm not telling you the codes. I'm teaching you the method. Do you understand? Okay. It's gonna be that like Ravenclaw smart. If you do not get these levels of intelligence, you will not make it through. These are prerequisite levels of intelligence and knowledge to be in Ravenclaw. This is baseline Ravenclaw. Okay. Morse code. We're going to talk about the American versus the international Morse code, and we're going to talk about learning Morse code. Let's put me back up there, and we're going to share the screen. Okay. Hey, guys. All right. Here we are. What? Dot, dot. So that's I. Dot, 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 dot. So that's L, right? So if you do not understand the Morse code that you're getting from Odessa or Mother Earth or your own liver or your heart or your fairy tapping on the window, then you will not be able to receive the message. Many of these messages will only come through Morse code because of the level of Ravenclaw surrounding it. And it will be through a feeling or tap on your body. And you are never allowed to disclose where you're getting your taps from. You are never allowed to disclose. Again, if you've ever said it out loud, it's gone. New system creations. That's exactly what we're doing. So if you watch the House of Raziel Security Against PsyOps video, you will know that we're supposed to be covered in our like our car seat, like our car windshield, and we have our thermal pad, heating pad, and we're against all the infrared. So now we have like, if we're going to write our genetics out, or we're going to write our chem out, or we're going to write anything, like even just to spell out, like what kind of spells are we doing right now? Yeah. So like, we're doing way more important work that's probably like deep downloads of insight or intelligence, or we're building out secret languages. We might be making our own Morse code or our own secret language because we're in Ravenclaw. So we might be doing things that are intensely clever or So you're not allowed to make a cipher and then leave it out. So that's stupid. You're not allowed to do anything. So you write out your genetics and then you burn it, because just the writing it out is what activated it into the etheric world through the earth element, right? Okay. So when we do the Morse code, like before we do anything for the day, we're going to write out our Morse code practice, and we're going to learn through the entire alphabet. Let's say that, so I'm going to pretend to use this one. So I'm going to go A, and I'm going to write it out lightly. And then I'm going to go B, C, D, and then I'm going to try to mock how they did the dot and the dash. So I'm going to learn by copying their design. So what I'm doing is that I'm creating imprints daily over what my genetics might also like. So now if they do infrared or Kirlian photography to see whatever I wrote for the day, at least it has a new fresh Morse code that will it will make it harder to read or register whatever else I wrote on this book cover. And I am also required to wash the book cover. We're at that level. So so paranoid is 0. If you worked in a lab for anything, you would have to wash your hands like 5 times and cut your hair. Like, you're not allowed to drop an inch of DNA. You have to like scrub your entire body. You're not allowed a dead skin cell to fall on your computer. Like, we're talking that level. That's a base level understanding of what Ravenclaw is meant to do. And so that's why we're also going to talk about bathing and like tantra baths. You're fighting a tech industry that is at like hyper erudite level, that they're literally growing organs in petri dishes, and then they're also they at the same time have 5 million homeless people that they're purposely starving. So they have 0 interest in humanity and only have interest in profit gain. They also do not have interest in naturalism. They only have interest in corporate ownership and everything else that they want, which is probably sex cults and filthier stuff. So here I am, I'm like building. So I know I can see it's like a dot and a dash. And then it's like a dash and 3 dots. And it's I have to double check with this side and see if it's the order that I drew it in. Otherwise it goes to junk if I drew it in the wrong order. So then I should go back and I should go dot, dash. And then I should go dash, dot, dot, dot. And then I should go dash, dot, dash, dot underneath. So I should do it twice over if I want to really learn. The more you actually hand draw, let me say this again. Your memory is built off of what you hand write and hand draw. Your neurological wiring is better suited for learning and memory retention with hand-drawn imagery and pictographic depictions. It doesn't go over the head. It integrates through 2 sides of the brain. So overly repetitive hand-drawn motions of the same memory configuration is your first layer of mind training. To build a 10-layer divergency system, we have to start from scratch, and we have to be able to memory retain our first layer. And then we have to memory retain our second layer over it. And then we have to memory retain our third layer. And then we have to build an actual system to discern between first, second, and third. And then we have to build a fourth layer. And then we have to build a fifth layer. And then a sixth layer. And then you will have to remember all of it from your brain. This is baseline Ravenclaw. Not joking. It is a requirement to be in Ravenclaw. Okay. So I did my Morse code for today. Now I can go in and write out my genetics, or I can go in and write out my script, or I can go in and write out my mathematics or my code, or I can go in and write out my alchemy. Secret languages, whatever I am currently studying or seeking to master through Odessa's level training. Okay. 1 page of Morse code a day. That's like washing the dishes before I start my work for the day. Okay. It's like brushing my teeth in the morning. I have to do the Morse code. Okay. So now we're there. Next. Okay. So here is our A&R book, right? We all have this color, but we realize that we are not allowed that book ever because it's not made out of recycled material. And it's probably expensive, and we only have £3 or $3 to spend on a notebook. So we are absolutely required to buy all of these notebooks, and then we can put our own lime green cover on it. Yeah, so just remember that. You are required to burn most of your evidence for everything. You are also required not joking. You're also required to make sure that your A&R tracking sheets are all in one notebook. So if you have 10 different dragons you're working on, that you know where you're at, because you have all the tracking sheets in one specific area. So when somebody chases you to kill you, you just grab that one notebook and you run. I'm not joking. So if you have your script, if you have your book that you're writing, you should keep your most important tracking data or that script in that one notebook. So if you're only able to grab one thing, that's what you're grabbing. And you should probably have your passport available, etc. I'm not joking. These people are narcissists and they are dangerous. This. Whatever. So this is a letter. Oh no. Screen share. Here is a genetics formula for every single time. And this is the fake version. These are the slate cleaning versions of my genetics work. Before I even start with the Razzia levels, know that your levels of downloads are going to be appropriate for the levels of security clearance that you're getting in the astral planes. So if you're very sloppy in the security, Odessa is either going to give you Odessa's going to give you what you're like deserving in life. Period. So I keep this is like a tracking sheet for me. So I keep that in. And then I never waste my paper ever. If I'm doing all my genetics, if I have like stuff like this, I'm writing my genetics on this page. I'm writing it out on this page. I'm using literally every piece of Clipith data is recorded. Let me say this again. We are above the wheel of karma. Every piece of Clipith data is recorded. Every piece of paper that came from a tree, that is even recycled, that came from a tree is recorded. So I'd better make sure that every single piece of my life is as sacred and non-wasteful as possible. All right. Do you see how you cannot discern what this is, but I can still discern what this is based off of how I did it? At an upfront level, that's the requirement. They are not allowed to know your system ever. Ever. You are required to be able to keep track of everything you do. Have a tracking sheet and then go, no, like the Marauders map level. Period. Next. Know for a fact that every single grimoire is going to be burned. You are going to take out every single thing that you have ever written down for magic, and you are going to burn it. And you're going to say that or something better. So here was my Lucifer book. Where I was sending Lucifer into heaven with this book. It was as sacred as it could get. My prayers and my rituals and my intentions in this book were as beautiful and divine. It was nicer than the Bible. And it is now empty, basically. I just have some little bits of stuff. Gone. This is the only thing I have left. And all this is, are the Aura levels that are public. Same thing. These are the Aura levels that are public on Facebook, where we downloaded the important work. Every journal is now your liability. They will break in, they will steal it, they will read it. They will sell it. You are now an ascended master witch or wizard. They do not, they will be, they're dropping smint. They're dropping smint. If you have one of these journals, who am I? What am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? And what is my purpose? If you have one of these journals, it's gone. Done. It's burned or it's put in compost to rot. It is not thrown away. They're going through the trash cans. The only things that you're allowed are stuff like this. This is my like record keeping of my current like class list. What classes did I get done today? So this is like a grid that I'm setting. Public. So I can keep track of it and do my nice check marks. It's like a to-do list. If it's something that I would have on my notes pad on my computer with a check mark on it, I can have it on live active record. Now, if I want to do something like, who am I? What am I? Where am I going? What is my purpose in life? Then I burn it for the day. It's that mandatory. Do we understand? Do we understand the level of lockout that Ravenclaw is? It is at this current juncture. If you have not watched the ROTCL 911 mandatory video, that you should stop everything and go back and watch it. I'm serious. Period. All right. We are not allowed to be victims to their cyber ops. We are to expect it and fight it. It's not fair. It doesn't matter if it's not fair. They will never be fair. Fair begins at Gryffindor. Let me say that again. Remember, the justice path, the fair path begins at Gryffindor. That they're not there. All right. I'm going to show you. So there's like, did you guys all see the picture where it says, what does Maleficent want on my hand? And then it goes memory, 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 memory. There's an image on the class list under Isla with the bat, like Elsa Isla. There, there is, it's like, I am required to establish memory protocols with my hands. We're going to learn. Okay. We now know. Oh, here. Okay. So we're gonna look at this first. Oh no, to-do list daily. All right, so here's me and Kelly. Oh my God, Kelly's earrings are in Morse code. Yes. Sit with that. I hear in Morse code. The Empress. So this is the path of the Emperor right here. Right. That's the Emperor path. There's a left brain to the heart, but it's also here. It's like that Netzach is closed path. Okay. And then the Empress is here. It's all third eye. Ravenclaw. All right, Kelly, we're learning Morse code. She's the head of Ravenclaw. So you guys are required to obey. So if she hears in Morse code, you are going to learn it. There are two versions of Morse code, and I need you to see the difference. So if you look at A, you see it's the same. B is the same. C is not the same. D is the same. E is the same. F is not the same. I like that you see it says C, F. Fail. All right. We are going to establish the dominance with the International Morse Code System. Why are we doing that? Ravenclaw establishes the protocol. Initial Ravenclaw protocol is International Morse Code. Because I am in London and Kelly is in America. So it's international. Doesn't matter if we're American. First one we learn, international. So this one, this set is international. And you can see it because of the C, and you can see it because of the F. Do you like when you, like you can tell the difference between C and F? So that's a good pun to remember, the difference between international and American. See the failure. Okay. So this is our Ravenclaw. This is secondary. We're gonna have to learn the American version also. That's secondary. You will receive downloads while you're doing this about what you can do with it or how you can diverge with it. Understand that their physiology is built, their genetic physiology is currently built at only about a 2-inch differential pattern between us and their unconscious mind. Our genetics is too close, but it's still separate, that they can read our thoughts unconsciously. Let me say that again. At a 2-inch differential genetic pattern. That's all we have in Ravenclaw. We have 2 inches. Let me say that again. They can predict our thoughts unconsciously. But in Ravenclaw, we have a 2-inch differential pattern to diverge. The more A&R work that you do, the greater the gap gets. When you take away their ability to even predict unconsciously your thoughts or behavior pattern, they no longer have the ability to control. Next. I am that emperor creature. And Kelly hates the FBI. I am the head of Gryffindor. And Kelly is the head of Ravenclaw. The FBI is allowed House of Rotsiel Gryffindor level Ravenclaw downloads, and that's about it. Until they get 7th house through the House of Kamael marked and printed and get into Bina. As an esteemed heirloom. But first, they are required to provide no vice pages, 7th house level A&R marks, 2nd stripe aura levels, along with pink marks and blue marks. Okay, so they have a lot. 100 dragons at blue, pink marks levels at the 6, blue marks levels at the 6, and then the no vice pages. All right, so we don't look at the FBI and Ravenclaw. So that's not Ravenclaw, that's Gryffindor at its best. Know that but they're my friend. They are not Kelly's friend. Kelly has locked them out. McKenna, on the other hand, has done this with them. The FBI are my people. Period. That's House of Razio in Gaybra. All right, so we're going to take this out. Next. We have established that they do not need to stay in the FBI. They can leave the FBI and then go through all the Ravenclaw training with Kelly if they wanted Ravenclaw. So that's their choice. Period. So we all have choices in life we can make. All right. Fair. Next, we're going to talk about mirror prism reductions and analysis and divergency protocols. Okay. So if we look here, so here's our class list. It's just going to keep growing. Here we go. This shot. So this is our public. This was our public collection of our Ravenclaw bottle caps. Each one of these bottle caps has a secret message or pun. At least one. It has a secret message. It has a secret pun. It has a different teaching for Ravenclaw through the mirror prism. My favorite, this is going to be a lot of people's favorite, is I'm literally just bleeding in the Cobra acid. Like I'm 100% green. Like I am only Cobra acid. That's it. The other is like, okay, I'm really lazy. I didn't like do my grid very well. I should make my words look like it's speaking Russian. They're the Rogina Ravenclaw is like that's the classic one. Here right down here is our crest basically, and then here we have the Grand Maleficent Eagle. So she's the Grand. So that is me, but that's not me. Okay, so that's Odessa, like the Maleficent, because me and Kelly are like bound to Odessa's level of intelligence for infinity. So we have 15 years listening to Odessa and being 100% obedient to Odessa to even be able to really get Bina. So Bina is the great Maleficent, and that is in the unmanifest state on the across the abyss level. So in Ravenclaw, we're like all we are is Odessa's slave, and Odessa will train you like a Russian ballerina teacher, and it will feel like torture. And you will just learn to become an ascended master. Odessa is the one that looks at your fingers and go, they're too fat. And you go, I know, because she's not doing it like it's a vanity teaching. She's doing it like you did not learn refinement. So she's a whiplash ninja, but she's the great Maleficent in Bina. You will not receive real Auror training unless you master Gryffindor and or Ravenclaw. Period. You will have to be able to listen to Odessa in Bina and model and mimic that behavior. Period. So that's we only serve the one. We are definitely double nothing. Is because you get through Gaybra and you're like, I survived Gaybra. And then you get into Hesed and then it's 10 times the level of refinement required, and you are literally going to only be bound to Odessa's whiplashes on you, and it doesn't matter who's outside with a gun to your head. You are mandatorily required to listen to the one, instead of the gun to your head. It doesn't, like, Odessa's got a gun to your head. You need to know that. Period. That's why it's like across the abyss. Like, everybody knows that Odessa is the great Maleficent. So the other parts is like, we have wisdom. Meantime is like, yeah. So there are like, if I disclose anything more, we kind of lose some of the grid, but you can start to be creative and download everything that these bottle caps meant. Now, the problem is that I published all of these, and I probably made a number of comments surrounding them. Hi, you can come in, and then I'm going to continue my video. So I made a number of comments surrounding them, or jokes. So now at that level, just, you have to throw it away. So we went in and we found 20 more. And we did not publish them, and we chose them. And they weren't like, just because it was blue or silver, it didn't mean anything. And maybe it did, it just depends. But I have to remember it. I have to remember my bottle caps, because they have secret messages and teachings. They are like secret tarot cards for Ravenclaw codes. I have to remember them all, and I'm not allowed to write them down. I also have to ascribe them to previous known teachings. So I'm going to talk to you about that. If you've taken toeography or handography, then you're in luck. And here's the better, like, maybe you went to Sweeha, maybe you went to Star, maybe you just did it from somebody else. They will know. They're gonna find out, and they're gonna find out like who you went. The better part is the one that you kept secret, that you made up yourself. Oh, this finger means this, and this finger means this, and this finger means this, and screw everybody else that you learned on a public forum. My handography means nothing, because it's a mass agreement that now the CIA is in full understanding of. Nobody knows which bottle cap that is, but I know which bottle cap that is. And I know which bottle cap that is on this finger, and what it means on this finger. I know what that one is. Nobody else knows what that one is. You will have to remember every single bottle cap. Nobody knows what that one is. I know what that one is. And what the finger is for. And all the magics that I've put on this finger, and all the rings that I've put on this finger, and everything I've put on this finger. So the more stories that I have on this finger, the better, and the more divergent I can, and the more individualized I can make this magic. You will have to build a 10-layer out system. I'm gonna keep saying that. That one, nobody knows what that one is. Okay. My next problem is this one. People are going to be able to find what that one is. Let me say this again. If I have to draw a picture of it and the picture matches the picture, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna know what the teaching is. So when I use pictures, it's harder. Let me say this again. When I use a letter or a pair of letters or a glyph, they cannot discern what it was. They can guess, maybe. Unconsciously, they might be able to discern what it is. Intuitively, maybe they'll get the hit. You're a psychic master that has to offset evil psychics. Think of it like that way. You have to fight evil psychics that want to kill you. You're in the movies, like you're in the TV show Sabrina, and you have those mean, awful witches that are going to hunt and take you down. Think of it like that. So here's our first hand. Oh my God. Our next hand. I remember this one. The problem is that this one is literally the same as what it looks like on the bottle cap. That sucks. The fun part is what it means to me. Now, one layer is that this finger is about how I receive direction. And what this letter is bizarro. So this always means I'm the fucking alpha. Me, I do not receive direction. That's bizarro. Nobody knows what that one is. They will not get it. The more you add the data, it's like looking at a Bible for them. They can't compute it. It will jerk up their system. The more data you give them, it cognitively shuts them down into nothing. Let me say that again. The more data you give them, the more it shuts them down. This is my ring finger. There's my if I receive fuck you, it's definitely no. It's definitely a frowny face. Now, this frowny face is not actually a frowny face in one of these tabs, but they don't know that. Do you understand? I could take letters or like another image and then go frowny face, because that's my first divergency set. So I create a memory association of frowny face. So like this cobra acid one, I might go happy face, but it's actually just cobra acid. Do you see how I offset the linear brain? So I have to go creative. And now I didn't forget what that was. Okay, so we have a full set of hands. If you cannot get your first 10 and remember them, do not seek for your second 10. Get your first 10 of your first set of memory. We're building a system to build memory in the brain. When we can build memory systems in our brain, we can then create with them. You will have a secret language with Odessa. Or with another human, where you don't type it out publicly. You will develop a sense of secrecy around storytelling, around pictures or colors, around specific letter formulas. You should have been doing this for the past 2 decades. You should have read all the things like Enduring Virtues and angel numbers. And what does that tarot card mean? And what is this path on the tree of life? And you should have like 50 systems in your brain by now. And if you don't, that's okay, but you're gonna develop them. And if you're part of the Mayan lineage and you've left the Mayan lineage officially, and you want to do Ravenclaw, going back and using light language is acceptable. Right? So I know like I know the science between the color red and the color blue, and how that also works as a science on the tree of life. And what that color is cord cutting cobra acid, which is the same as the chartreuse hereditary scissors color. It is a scientific color frequency for specific actions to manifest or take place in the etheric world. I know what the color black does. I know what the color teal does, etc., etc., etc. And this is no knowledge through the chakra system. These are old teachings. You should, like, this to me looks like the red rose of Netzach inside of Netzach. And then it says, my hiney can. Like, my hiney, like my physical DNA can get that done. That's like every single time we pick up a hiney can bottle cap, that's what I'm saying in my brain, because it's on my hiney can. They know these things. They drop Twix wrappers to say tricks, and then they put open fire stickers to say we have a gun to your head. So they use the same logic to offset you and then say that they're going to murder you. Just know that. And they're not really good. They're not really intelligent, and they're trying to use your intelligence making fun of you. Period. And that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to shame, humiliate, make fun of you, create drama, and then murder and assassinate you, and then steal your children, and then sell them to sex slavery. Because they are the cabal. Seriously. There is nothing left. Yeah. So we have our blue ones. Now, our blue and white Ravenclaw ones. We're gonna go through some of these. You will see, let's say we set up a system where we're picking up bottle caps and we now have all of our Ravenclaw teachings. We have all of our new codes, and now we have our secret ones, right? That we didn't publicize, and now we need to remember all of the ones. So this is a great example, right? Like, I developed a system, I published my system's known, they have access to my brain, they can use the system to control me. I know what I've offered online, and now, like, how do I even move forward, because I know all my data was stolen, and like, and I know they're watching me. Like, it breeds psychosis. So our first, it just is like worry, like forever. So our first layer is going, what's our next? So the virtue of his head is abundance. Okay, it's benevolence and abundance. And then we can start to breathe. I know my entire system was lost. Like, oh, light language 3 was published, but we haven't built light language 4. Which is the color spectrum of 1728. And I have 550 downloads for all the colors and new meanings. So now I have the ability to build a private divergency protocol layer. And I know I'm not allowed to keep a book. I'm not allowed to keep it in a book, and I'm not allowed to have it on the computer. But I can establish it in my brain and wire it for infinity. And that's what we're doing with light language 4. Oh no. Night school intention. Light language 4 downloads, maybe a new color every month, and then give me all the secret teachings around that color. And make it maybe 3 different colors that month. Maybe I'm not allowed to even write down that that's my intention, or if I write it down, I have to burn it in my cauldron, because I'm not allowed to have it written down, because I know the CIA is gonna break into my home and take pictures of everything I've ever written down. Just know that. This is not paranoia. In China, they are kidnapping people out of their homes, stealing them, killing them, and then cutting out their organs and selling them on the black market for the same things. So this is just baseline intelligence for human existence. You are not special. It is not special in America. The only difference is that America set up a westernized ideological system where prayer didn't actually have any effect or gravity on the cabal. But now it does. And now that you threaten their system, you're in the same exact position as all the Chinese Taoists or Tibetan Chi masters. Like, you're not separate from them at all. We only lived in a prison of ideology that somehow America was better than that. And it's not. We just didn't have a system that threatens that threatened let me say that we did not have a system that threatened their perversion and control. We prayed to Jesus Christ, and maybe Jesus Christ will answer my prayers. And now that Jesus Christ is actually us and we can become ascended masters, we now have full access and ability to take down the corrupted establishments with divinity, intelligence, and math. So again, I had a system. Here's my system. Oh no, I published it. I even talked about breaking it down. Oh no, I'm in Ravenclaw. Everything is a secret. I'm so screwed. Okay. So these are all the thoughts that go through your brain. I have had them all. I know everybody's going to decode every single thing I ever thought. And I know it's just, I'm screwed. And like, they're going to use it against me. Oh no. So you like, let that go. So that's the paranoia state. And nothing gets done in that state. Just say this. It's okay that all my data was seen and I'm throwing it away, just like my books. Look, like these are empty. And I'm beginning with a fresh start, but with certain logics or analysis in my head that I can rewire. So now we have, this was the bad. I published this already. F. Like we already knew it from the day, like the beginning of this picture. Like me taking this picture, mandatory F. It's right. It's like bulls that like I am a Jew. This is Schindler's List. I'm going to be hunted and murdered. Like I am a target. This is F. This picture is F. I should never have taken this picture. Ever. I should never have posted it on my website. I should never have talked about this picture. I shouldn't have done anything. And I was relaying information about what I was receiving to Kelly because she asked me to. So now we're going to use it as a class to teach you guys what you're not allowed to do. Period. All right. So then we have our secret ones. And I've thrown them away. They do not exist. These are bottle caps that were picked up, registered with like a whip against my back. Like that's your fucking teaching. And it hurt. And it wires, literally, it felt like Odessa doing this to me. I'm not joking. And it is your mandatory teaching, and you are going to toss it into the lava. You are not even allowed to talk about those teachings ever. You're foreign. Those bottle caps existed zero. Okay? They're not in my possession. I have no evidence on me. They're not in my home. Oh my God, they can go through the trash into the public trash. They can see on spy cameras every single thing I've ever picked up, and then they can register like thought imprint analysis about how I responded to what I picked up, and they can see like they can do body language reading and facial reading about what I thought about that bottle cap. So no, it's at that level. So don't even give them the arrow that points. Don't even give them the arrow that points to what you're gonna think or how you're gonna respond. We're definitely gonna make Katy Perry's poker face. Like, or wait, is that Katy or Lady Gaga? That's Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga. Okay, so I am Lady Gaga. and Kelly is Katy Perry. So just let's go from like that point. So poker, like you have poker face on every single thing that you pick up for infinity and listen to. If you do like a tarot reading, or like you're reading information from like a piece of trash, like if you have like psychic lit taste buds, and you're not allowed to even have a physiological heart response that goes A or B. It has to be one unified, or it has to be 5 different ones. They are not allowed to know what you think or feel. You have to be able to pass a polygraph test with infrared cameras tracking your body. I'm not joking. It is so bad. You're not allowed to disclose how you feel about a piece of information that you received. It's that level. Unless it's an obvious A or B analysis. You have to outwit them to death. Let me say this again. If you're in Ravenclaw, that is Ravenclaw. The ability to outwit them to the death, to cross the abyss. I'm not joking. I'm not a joker here. Gabra was this, like that. So Hesed is even harder. You have to be able to break through their brick walls of mental intelligence. They do not care. They will torture you. They will do whatever they can get away with. First layer. Okay, now I've got my first layer down. Okay, so now I have my second layer. Okay. So now here it starts getting really fuddled, because I'm like, oh no. Okay, so oh no, I remember this. So now I have harder time remembering my second layer than I have the harder, like it's easier to remember my first layer than my second layer. And I build a story around it. All right. So now my hands are starting to look kind of cluttered. I remember this. I remember this. I remember this. Oh, I forgot this one. I remember this one. Oh, I have a third one on that. So now I have 20 secret things. So now I look like everybody in the CIA knows what my tattoo is. But if I had 500 tattoos, it'd make it really annoying for the CIA. Let me say that again. If I have 500 tattoos, it'd make it really annoying for the CIA. Abundance is a virtue. It shuts them down. They are not able to do a shadow clippeth readouts like I'm allowed to. When 5 million African or Black millennials come into London and make it feel like it's the end of the world, I can read the shadow drops in everything they threw onto the ground, and they cannot. I can look through needles and haystacks and receive data of intent, and their dumbass computer analysis can do nothing, because they can't read collective intelligence patterns at abundant frequencies. Because if they could, it would change the outcome of their behavior. They do not have the ability to discern that organic produce is mandatory on a scientific level moving forward into the future. So they do not have, this is my current logical deduction. And it might be illogical, it might be invalid. But my assessment currently is that they do not possess the technology to look at us shadow droppings at a mass abundance scale and discern the hidden messages left by 5 million people at a collective consciousness agreement. And at a shadow drop, they cannot read dust, which is the same kinda. They cannot read the frequency patterns in dust at an individual's consciousness level. We're creating this is our first steps to creating dust. As many layers of these, it creates dust. Are you like, now I'm feeling better about myself now? Like now I'm like, I feel like I have maybe some power to move forward. Maybe I have a chance to make it through. I do not remember this one. Oh, no. And I don't remember this one. And I don't remember this one, but I remember the black one for this one. Okay. So I have an issue because, oh no, now I remember. But maybe you don't. So we're going to talk about it. Okay, so I remembered those two. So now I'm missing this one. I'm missing this one only. Now my brain's going to be focused on what I did not remember ever. Okay, here is our best mnemonic devices, is yin yangs. I know that it's a blue, so I'm marking it black. So I have the yin, yin. I know this one's a yin. I know this one's a yin. I know this one's a yang. I know what that one's a yang. I know what that one's a yang. I know what that one's a yang. So these are all blue backgrounds and these are white backgrounds. So I have yang on this one and I have yang on this finger. So now my mantra or my mudra is this. And I know that these ones are all blue and these ones are white or light blue. Yin, yang. So now I have a mudra or a hand gesture. I will always remember that my left hand's hand gesture is this. So now I have a device system to remember that at least if I cannot remember which thing my thing was, that at least it was on the blue side. So now my brain doesn't go insane because my mudra has taken place. Okay, so I have a security zone. It's a Sputnik grid. It's a net that my body can remember where my data was going to place. Okay. And then I know that only this finger is my yin or my yang, and then this one's my yin. So I'm missing this one. I'm only missing this, and I know it has a blue background. That's it. That's all I have. But at least it doesn't make my brain go insane. I will retrieve that data later. Because I know that one's yang, I know that one's yang. This is yin, 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 yin. So yin. So here is my mudra for my first set. Now I will have a second set. And maybe I'll have a new mudra. I'll have the next layer. And maybe it will go like this. And maybe it will not include the first two dots. Maybe it will be it will just be the second dot or the third dot. I'm not allowed to develop your system for you. And I'm not going to expose my system either. But the point is this. I know I can remember my muscle memory because I am an Ashtanga yogi and I can remember 80 positions in a logical formula based off of muscle memory. When you do the same thing over and over in your body, you can remember it in your body. So even if I didn't think about this in 10 years, I might go, what was that thing that I drew on my hand? I remember holding my hand like this, and I remember holding my hand like this. And then maybe I can do a full-on backwards memory recall. Period. So just this whole system is now messing with their brains at a third layer divergency system. Because now they have to seek to understand my system to break my system. They will not retrieve my data. They are required to hack into my system. Let me say that again. To receive my data, they have to hack into my system. Let me say that one more time. To receive my data, they have to hack into my system. I love our This is the same. This is the same version of the crow looking at the J and Rogina. Here's our beautiful. So you can see like here, this is our overflowing fountain. So that is a known teaching. It was right here, right here. So that's the same teaching. Right. So we have like they're not going to be secrets, right? like the CIA understands we're looking at bottle caps in the mirror prism. They already know. They already know. They use it. They're using things against us already. Like it doesn't matter. Okay. So so they'll go and do more research behind our backs, knowing we use this, and see what else is out there. But look, so we have F. So here's our F. But we also got C and we got a B. So finally, we have attracted these into our, we also got our perfect 10. Oh my God. You need to understand that we didn't have these in the mirror prism before until recently. So we now attracted that is good. B, we're at a solid B. Good. At a not at a worst, but like at a best, but it's kind of like at a worst, like it's not just F. Like we were definitely at F, and then I walked into the PSYOPs experiment, and then it was like still like it was just bad. And a 1,000 open fire stickers later. Yeah. So I want to talk about this. Here's our genetics. Like this is Ravenclaw genetics right there. They're already going to look at that and they're already going to see it's Ravenclaw genetics. So there are some things that we just go, yep, that's what it is. That's obvious. Like Mark Zuckerberg will definitely be in Ravenclaw. Ed Snowden's definitely in Ravenclaw. Like there are people on this planet that are millennials and like that are discernibly obviously gonna be in Ravenclaw, and then you just throw Zuckerberg under the bus. That's it. We don't even second guess it. You don't say it. You don't talk about anybody else. Like Ed Snowden's in Ravenclaw, Zuckerberg's in Ravenclaw. Like that's it. And anybody else, like Aaron Preston's in Ravenclaw. Okay, so like Kelly's in Ravenclaw, but I don't talk about anybody else. Oh wait, Cho Chang and Luna Lovegood. There we go. That's it. We have identified people already in Ravenclaw. I do not talk about anybody. Oh, Jamie Bell's not in Ravenclaw. He's the head of Ravenclaw. Like, yeah, that's it. I do not talk about anybody, but like I identified everybody's through their dragons. When you're in Ravenclaw and you learn who your dragon is, and it's like a celebrity, you never say it out loud. You're gonna see what happened to what me and Chris Pratt went through. I learned Archangel. I learned Marshall Mathers was Lucifer. That was his code name. God. And yeah, so like there we go. So he's Anubis. Yay, so he's the public identified figure. Ooh, so I never say out loud anybody more. Now that we know how bad it's gonna get. Ever. So every single dragon that's identified as a human, I'm never allowed to say. It's a lockout house. So you're supposed to establish confidentiality. And now you can see all the actual endangerment that I put these people in because I even said it out loud online. What a great lesson. Do not make the same mistakes. Do not identify your children or your children's friends or any, like, period. Just don't do it. Stupid. So it's the same thing as looking at this and going, it's just Ravenclaw genetics. It looks like it looks like DNA. Do not pretend that that's not what that is. It also might be like Mozart work. Like that, they're like, that's it. There are things that are just way too obvious. So there are like hidden, so like blue moon, that one will never go away. Where's our blue moon one? Here's our blue moon one. So those are like our grace from God luck bottle cap, maybe once in a blue moon. My logical analysis will not go to the negative. It will actually create a miracle instead. So like your Hail Mary, that's your blue moon is your Hail Mary pass. Okay, so there are like, so these are not written down. I'm talking about these as like public ones. Here's our that's like that is our our archangel. Like we finally got Ravenclaw. So here's our Salviohexia one. Like, yeah, so here, like they already know we use that as like an ophoneme lasagna grid. They know everything. Period. They know everything already. They've blackmailed me using this pattern that they'll sell Isla. They left that pattern on a ground like it was a P dot, like a urine dot, because that they've been watching. They I'm sorry, you guys. They hate ascended masters and they will do everything to control us. So here's our Salviohexia charm. They already know it. It's public. It's on my website. It's in all our videos. Yay. So just call it out for what it is. There are certain ones like you'll find things and teachings. But I really like the C and I really like the B coming through. Yeah, it's just this one's a little concerning. That's the never-ending Hunger Games teaching. We are in a never-ending Hunger Games reality. As an ascended master, you're in a never-ending quell. They are using your brain and your body for sport. The thing about Ravenclaw is they're team building, and like in Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, we're not killing each other. It's DA at the worst. The more A&R working, it's the more DA at the worst. And that's like Dumbledore's Academy, where we're like stick training with each other. Okay. See? So just expect that if they know you're picking up blue and white bottle caps and you're going Ravenclaw, that they're going to do the same thing and try to discern what Ravenclaw is teaching. How to, like, they're going to do whatever they can because they're never getting into Ravenclaw. They're gonna they'll do murder. Be naive never. Yeah, there's nothing really left. We're going to talk about, I have a whole other set of them, and we're going to do a mirror prism reduct so we can understand, but that's not this video. The point is, so I have a system of the ones I've collected, but they can't tag, like if I have, maybe I have an emotional connection to one or two of these. Let's just say that, like the blue moon one. Maybe I'll do that with the blue moon one. You see? Okay. So maybe I collect one because I want to just accumulate, but I know that I looked at it online and they might be able to track it. So then I definitely diverge from whatever I found online that I made or that I received a hidden message from. And I make 50 layers of like, I'm not doing that for my blue moon one because it's too obvious. Okay. So now I have to diverge from whatever that is. And maybe I do it like this. Or maybe I do that. Yeah. So like I have to make it where it's a divergent reality from what they're able to see. And it has to mean something to me in my brain. I have to be mentally and emotionally connected to it at a storyline logic level. Let me say that again. At a at a storyline logic level. I have a story for each of these in my practical daily life. I know what this is. I know what this is at a storyline level. Okay. And then I add, it's just like a tattoo. And I add to it. So now I have 3 layers, and then I have 4 layers, and now I have 5 layers, but I do not keep adding it to, okay. Do we get mental divergent? So now we're going to go back to this. I know it's redundant. It's not redundant. They have bullets to your brain. In Hode, we developed this. The Secrets of the Mexican Shamans, Cooking with Magic. You should, at this level, have a mind palace built for every food in your reality. And it shouldn't be obvious. And if it's obvious, it needs to be changed. So like grapes and bananas are not allowed to be fertility. But they are still fertility. It doesn't take away from fertility, right? So it's still fertility, but now you need your second layer. So if it's something that the CIA can guess, then it's bad. If it's something that I wrote down, then it's bad. So now I need to think about it like I thought about these. So I go through all my foods and all my spices, and I go, I need a story surrounding everything. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to write down all those spices. And then my first remembering of what they are. And I go, that's not good. It's like your password security level. Like if you've ever done your password is really bad, your password string, that's really bad. You need like 50 letters with numbers and like you need a password generator. Okay. So it needs to be at that level. And you need to be able to mix up the letters. Maybe you want to decode, like cayenne pepper might have been a pun for like creating energy. But maybe I'm going to take all the letters and I'm going to rewrite it with the same letters and find out the new alchemy. Or maybe I'm just going to make it up intuitively. But the point is to mess with their systems where they're going to be able to control you ever. So every single thing that you've ever posted, like if you remember watching that video and going, I know that my apple means this, and I know my lime means this. That's like you're a child. So now you need 5 layers of adult. And now you're through Gabriel, and now you understand that they're gonna kill us. So now your limes need to mean something more than just limey or truth telling or burning through denial or cobra acid. So your lime needs to mean something with a bigger punch. You'll download it. Now you have to build a whole new system. And you're not allowed to keep it in a book. Like your crystal Bibles. Like the crystal Bible. This is your level of like this. Like, oh man, I need to understand all those like all those crystals we talked about. All those crystals we talked about now need to be like newly downloaded like this. Times a million. Okay, I think we're done here. That was the Divergency Bible and secret languages and building memory device systems. Bye. Collie Wren out.